today. How are you?
I'm great. I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I'm great. I'm happy to introduce you to these really great HBCU students. They all are star students in their own right. And I'm sure that they're really happy to learn about you as well and your craft. And we're so proud of you as a Hampton alum. So here we have Jordan. Jordan, go ahead and introduce yourself. Share what school you go to, share your major, share a little bit about yourself.
Of course. Hi, Miss Carter. My name is Jordan Allen. I am a sophomore marketing major, political science minor at the real HU, but we'll give it to you for today. Howard University. and I had to do it. I had to do it. But my question is as follows. As an award-winning costume designer and the main designer for Coming to America, what specific inspiration did you take from the first film when designing the costumes for the new film? And what was your strategy for keeping the roots of the original film while also putting on this modern twist that you've been talking about?
Well, I remember the first film. It was like permanently like indelled into my brain. I remembered how funny it was. I remember how regal it looked. And so when I went back to look at it, when I got this opportunity to do the sequel, I saw there was so many other little details about it. You know, the envelope cap that the guys wear, and I remember the cutaway coat, but all the beautiful sashes. And then they had these Benin masks that they would wear around their necks, or they would wear the Tuareg crosses. And because of my work with Black Panther, I was even more acquainted with all of those details. So I thought, now how do we take it 30 years later and, you know, knowing what we now know about Africa, you know, we can't be too inauthentic about this. We can't be too fake and phony, because some of our next door neighbors are from Ghana or from Nigeria, and they're going to be watching. So we really do have to be very careful and you know, have a responsibility to the culture and to Africa. So my feeling was to take some of the beautiful grandeur, the big sleeves on the dresses, the Ankara fabrics, a lot of the things that I think were good and safe about it, and bring all of that forward and leave some of it behind. You know, at the end of the movie, you see the wedding, they get on the stagecoach, and who's driving the stagecoach but these English guys with white wigs and cutaway coats, like we're all of a sudden in Britain. You know, it's like, I'm gonna leave that on the first one. You know, we'll enjoy that from the first film. And now when we come into the new film, you know, I'll bring in, like, you know, real authenticity. I'll bring in African designers who are modern. So I brought in Laduma and Palesa Makubang and Akiri Jones, and I know all of these people. So this is our time to celebrate Zamunda in more of a fashion sense.
Thank you.
Welcome, Howard.
So Sierra, we're gonna go ahead and go with you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, especially as a current Hampton student.
Hi, Miss Ruth. My name is Sierra White Sparks. I am a third year journalism major, marketing minor from Las Vegas at the Hampton University, the illustrious school, of course. It is an honor and pleasure to be here today. My question is really curated towards the costume and the wardrobe for the female characters in the film. I mean, every female was truly stunning and breathtaking. So I would love to hear a little bit about your inspiration and how did you really create the costumes to reflect the women that were being depicted in the film?
Well, first we had Sherry Hadley, who plays Lisa, and we took her out of Queens and brought her to Zamunda. And I was like, what kind of queen what kind of queen is my girl from Queens going to be? And so I said, oh, she's going down that fashion road. She's from New York. So I looked at a lot of, couture fashion, and I translated things into Ankara fabrics or zebra prints. I did special beading, and I really wanted her to be this regal queen. I went out to East India and had things made there where her collars were just like coming around her face, things that you didn't normally see in other films about royalty. I wanted to really strike a chord with her as her own version of being the queen. Just like with Lavelle, he was trying to find his Queen's roots and mix that with Zamunda. I wanted to show Lisa as someone who embraced that and embraced being a queen in Africa, who wanted to be there, in her African roots, but also could twist it up and bring in some fashion, some Seventh Avenue. And so that's what you see a lot with her looks. And then you have Kiki Lane, who played the oldest daughter, and she is this expert stick fighter. And we had Denai Guerrera in Black Panther as a Dora Milaje. So she is like our Dora Milaje of Zamunda. And I looked at the work of this designer named Jen Coy, and she took Puma pieces, she took football jerseys, she took all this athletic wear and she cut it up and she put beads on it and fringe and made it all in this big cultural statement, but it was still athleisure. And I thought, there's got to be a way that I could do that with Kiki. And she wanted to represent Zamunda. So we took the Zamundan flag and we created her first look in the film with the yellow fringe. And she wears her flag, she wears her country, because she too wants to project the image of a strong woman who could lead the country of Zamunda. And so anytime I had an opportunity to show her regal, like her gowns were short. She had a train on one of her shorter gowns. Like she was showing her legs, different than the Dora where they were completely covered. We embraced her female form by being, just accepting of her womanhood, and also showing her fighting Wesley Snipes' character in her own version of I'm still a queen and I'm going to kick some butt. So I really had a lot of fun with coming up with those ideas for Kiki, and she's such a great actress to dress. The same with the daughters. The youngest daughter, because the first movie was so many big shapes, big collars, big shoulders, big round bulbous shapes. I did that on the youngest daughter because I thought they were funny and they were cute, and it would be a way of honoring the first movie by giving the daughter all those cute little bulbous shapes to her costume looks. And she would just crack up laughing every time she got dressed.
Thank you. Next up, we have India Drayton.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is India Drayton, as Vanessa said. I am a PhD student at Howard.
Wow.
Yeah, PhD. Howard, okay. Hello. Yes. Vanessa and I actually went to the same undergrad, so.
Oh, 2 HUs.
There you have it. That's true. We'll leave it at that. And yes, congratulations on your star. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's
thank
really
you.
Yeah, and actually, since I am a PhD student, I did a lot of work with Black Panther, so I spent a lot of time just staring at your work with Black Panther.
Nice.
So wonderful job with that as well, and congratulations on the Oscar. So my question is, I was just wondering if you could speak more on your process of creating the aesthetic of Zamunda, especially as a fictional country, and if you felt any pressure to separate that style from the style you created for Wakanda, which was also a fictional country.
Yes. Okay. So the funny thing is, when I was making Black Panther, I kept she's shouting out to people, this is not coming to America. We are not doing coming to America. This is Wakanda. It's totally different, because people were coming in to be dressed as background, and they were like, is this like going to be like coming to America? I'm like, no. So there were things that I stayed away from on doing Black Panther. One of it was Ankara fabric, because we were creating a world before colonization, and Ankara fabric is produced by the Dutch, and it's not necessarily an original fabric of Africa. It was embraced by Africa, and it's very recognizable when you see a beautiful African print dress. You go, wow, you know, that's Africa. But it's actually produced in you know, in the Dutch country, and also in China, and they do a little bit in Africa, but not much. So I stayed away from Ankara on Black Panther. There's a little bit you'll see in Steptown, but there's not a lot. We did a lot of original things. We were inspired by tribes and their original processes. Now we go to Zamunda, all of a sudden I get coming to America too, and I'm like, oh my God, okay, you guys, this is not Wakanda, okay? I know you all loved Black Panther, but I am not doing Black Panther on this. This is Zamunda. And so I was like, okay, if Wakanda is like the you know, leading into technology, and they're the protectors because they have all of the military forces, then Zamunda is going to be like the fashion capital of Africa. It'll be the place where you can get your bling on, you can wear your Ankara fabric. It'll be inclusive of a lot of modern ideas from other real African designers. It'll have a little East India, because you don't go anywhere in this world and not see another culture. It's impossible to be on any place on this planet and only see, unless you are way out in the bush somewhere and you're looking at a small little village of people, you're going to see some East Indian people in Africa. You're going to see that aesthetic. When I look at African lace, I see Indian lace sometimes. So I wanted to bring in the world to Zamunda. I wanted to have a world view of it. I also knew that it's 30 years later. Prince Akeem is going to be King Akeem. Simi is still there. You know, what's Simi's role now that it's 30 years later, and he's still like the cousin to Prince Akeem, he's still the valet. Has he elevated his status? I wanted to see him elevated. I wanted to see him more like royalty, almost equivalent to the king, but still that little step down. You know, the King James Earl Jones in the beginning, he still hates his guts, you know. So the comedy element of it allowed me to do things that I couldn't do on any other film. Like the crowns, you know, Kiki's crown is like the size of a Mack truck in one of the scenes. But also the regalness, I wanted it to feel like really strong and regal and royal. And so I brought in velvets and patterns, and I tried to be a little outside the box with the royalty and stuff. So, you know, there were things that I think I could have done. You know, we can all do something a little bit better. Like you look at your work, you go, I should have answered that question like that instead of like that. So, you know, maybe the tuxedos that they wore a lot in the first film, I could have shown that a little bit more, you know, but it's a new coming to America for a new eye, a new crowd.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. Thanks so much. Next we have Daniel Ryan. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, Ms. Ruth. My name is Daniel Ryan. I'm a current junior communication major attending the illustrious Tuskegee University from Augusta, Georgia.
Right, yes.
My question is, did Hampton University play a major role in you wanting to become a costume designer?
Oh yeah, it played such a major role. You have no idea. I started out in special education. I wanted to be a teacher like my moms and my aunts and everybody in my family, a legacy of teachers. I'm from Virginia. I'm from Massachusetts, but my ancestral home is Virginia. My mom grew up in Hampton Roads and Newport News. And so when I got to Hampton, I was home. When I got to my HBCU, my cousins were there, my My uncle was an administrator there, so I was home, and I embraced my HBCU experience to the point where when I decided to be a theater arts major my junior year, I had the little theater at my disposal. I had every play to design. There was a little costume shop that nobody was working out of. Nobody was utilizing it. So I just, took it on, and my instructors and the dean of the department, they saw that I was doing something healthy and something good, and so they supported it. So I could work in that shop. The shop was pretty much mine. Every sorority or fraternity that had a show, they were asking me to do the costumes for. I mean, we recreated Thriller, Michael Jackson's Thriller, and I just had a lot of fun. I stayed in the theater department 24/7, and I cut my teeth that way. I did Raisin in the Sun, The Sty of the Blind Pig, A Day of Absence. I did a bunch of plays, and by the time I graduated, I was like, okay, I know what I want to do. I know who I am. And that was all due to my HBCU experience.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question.
Next up, we have Akaya Jones.
Good afternoon, Ms. Carter.
Hi,
My name is Akaya Jones. I am a sophomore at Virginia State University. I am a criminal justice major. I am also a proud member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. My question to you would be, what was your most challenging task to creating these costumes for this movie?
I think the most challenging task was the sensitivity that I had to have about the first film. People really didn't, there was a lot of people that didn't think we should even touch it, and here I was recreating it. So I had to find a delicate balance, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up, Ruth. Take all the good stuff and bring it over, and then show some new things. And I had to be bold about it at times because there was a new story, and I had to be nostalgic. So it was a little bit of a, sensitivity and a balance that was very difficult at times, and now we have, Eddie Murphy, it's 30 years later. And like there's one scene in the first movie where he has like a polo outfit, and that's like a classic outfit. People they make that for Halloween and stuff, and immediately who you are emulating from Coming to America in that polo outfit, right? Well, he was 20 something years old then. Now it's 30 years later, I can't put him in that polo outfit. So I gave him a golfing outfit, and I gave him the Laduma vest with the big hat and the knickers and the socks. And I was like, okay, so now if somebody wants to do that for Halloween, we'll know who he's emulating, And that was kind of like a little bit of the challenge, to take the nuances from the first film and recreate them in a way that seems to fit for both places.
Thank you. And next up, we have Christopher Jones.
Thank you so much, Ms. Carter.
Hi, Christopher.
Hello. Thank you for being here. It's huge that you're here, that we're able to have this conversation with you. Again, my name is Christopher Jones. I currently serve as the 19th Mr. Texas Southern University, former head drum major of the Ocean of Soul Marching Band. Thank you. My major is currently entertainment and recording industry management. I want to talk a little bit about your journey. I want to ask a little bit about your journey following college. We all have that anxiety of, what are we going to do after college? Are we going to be able to immediately jump into our career? So I want you to just tell us a little bit about your experience and your journey, and just how were you mentally transitioning from going to college into the star that you are today?
Thank you for that question. Every transition is nerve-wracking. Transitioning to Hampton, and leaving all my friends in Massachusetts and having to make new friends, and also, you know, be a little bit sure of myself about this profession that I wanted to study, you know, my major. As I said, I was in special education, and you know, just that whole transitional time, you know, we should all give ourselves some forgiveness, because, you know, it's a lot, you know, it's a lot. And I know that the schools, they try to help you with the transitions of from freshman year by getting you there early so you can get to know some of your upperclassmen. But for me, the transition from going into like the real major, the real digging in, leaving special education behind and getting into theater arts. And, you know, a lot of people don't look at that as something that you could make money at. And I went on to create a career out of something that people may have thought that, you know, what is she doing? Why isn't, I'm an economic major, I'm a this major, I was a theater arts major. You know, I didn't start out that way because I didn't think that it was a real career, a viable career where you could actually make a living. So when I graduated from Hampton, I thought, you know, wait, I kind of created my own curriculum at Hampton. I didn't really have a mentor that was a costume designer. Do I really know enough about this? Have I really, you know, gone down the right path? You know, I was a little unsure. So I did internships. And, you know, I still felt like I was in that learning phase, but I just kept going, and I was bold, and I sought out the information, and I asked the question, you know, never be afraid to ask for help. Never be afraid to tell people what you need. And because it's amazing what they will tell you, and it may just answer your question that you have tossed and turned all night for months about. And then you finally just ask somebody and they tell you an answer that works for you. And that's what happened with me. I went on to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and interned at the opera. And then I went on to Los Angeles, and then I met Spike Lee. So, you know, the journey is yours. It's how you embrace that journey. It's how you take that step. And it's just one little step at a time. It's not a giant step. And I think, you know, most people get that confused. They go, because of Instagram, and, you know, if you live in a place like Los Angeles and you see celebrities out, you know, doing normal stuff, you go, wait, I could be that. And you want to take that giant step before you're actually ready, before you actually know enough, you know. So being humble and being really a student of your passion and be open to learning is the best thing that you could do for your future, because your foundation is what you have to rely on for the rest of your life. So why not groom it now? Why not ask for help? Why not take the time to learn something? And that's kind of organically what happened with me. I was interested. I was wanting it. I didn't want to be a Black costume designer. I didn't want to be a Hollywood costume designer. I wasn't thinking about getting an Oscar. I wanted to be a great costume designer, period, end of story. So that's what I think we all should do. Just try to be great.
Thank you so much for that. You hit every nail on the head. Thank you.
Thanks for your question.
Yes, thank you again, Ms. Carter. And I do just want to reiterate to all students, if you guys do ever need help, if you're interested in something, what she touched on is so important. Sierra has been great at this. If you're interested in entertainment, if you have a passion, definitely share it. And you never know who can plug you in. You never know what runs by one of us. And it just may be like that one step that you need to get to where you're headed in life. So thank you.
Thank you.